Hi everyone, this is Gleeza, made with Glee. Today I'm sharing with you a trash to treasure DIY project. This is a tree stump that I picked up from the sidewalk. Actually, my husband picked it up 2 years ago after Hurricane Irma. Hurricane Irma was the last hurricane to significantly affect us here in South Florida, and it did take down quite a few trees. And this was someone cleaned up their yard, and this was out there, and I had my husband pick up a few logs for me, which I'm using some in other places, but this particular one, it's been drying under my covered patio for 2 years, and I just love the bark on this particular tree. It just lends itself to some creativity and some magic, so I decided I wanted to make a magical tree house for my fairies and my gnome. Now, if you are familiar with Enid Blyton and the Faraway Tree, that's basically my inspiration. This tree house is going to become a condominium for many fairies and gnomes. Now, the first thing I did was get 2 pieces of flat wood that I got from Michael's. This is like craft wood, balsam or pine, I'm not sure, and I decided I'm going to make that into the roof, so I duct taped it together to make a hinge, and I paint the underneath with several shades of green paint, just to give it an old mossy worn look, and then I nail that on top of the trunk itself directly to attach it. Now, everything else I'm going to be doing on this treehouse, I will be using glues. I'll be using my glue gun, I'll be using Gorilla Glue and E6000, so the only thing I needed was the nails to nail the actual roof on. I'm also going to build a balcony, and I do apologize that I lost the footage of that, but I basically took some dowels and propped up the one side of the roof that was leaning over, and took some cork board that I used to create the doors, the balconies, the windows, and different things like that. Now, this tree trunk itself, like I said, it just lends itself to creativity. So I'm just using things I had around my house. These were like wooden circles, and I painted them and cut them in half to create my floating stairs. I also use wood logs from the Dollar Tree to create stairs and steps and different things like that. Now, the actual tree trunk is sitting on a base of plywood, and that base is resting on IKEA Lazy Susan, so I'm able to spin it around completely because it's going to be a 360-degree view when I'm completely done with this. So like I said, it's just playing for me. I have really had fun making this tree house. It was just like looking at different spots and kind of deciding where a door could possibly go and fitting it in and cutting it. And I use paints and beads to create my little doorways where either gnomes or fairies or either woodland critters could all be residing in this tree. So this is pretty much the fun part. I have no special instructions for you guys except to try to use things that you have around. That's the fun part of being creative and doing these type of trash to treasure projects, is using things that you had previously, which I'm using some old cork board that I had on my wall in my previous craft room, and I'm just cutting it up into pieces to create the doors, the windows, the shingles on my roof. That's all created out of those square corkboard pieces. And like I said, everything here is glued on. Now, this tree house is not meant to go outdoors. I keep this on my covered patio. Currently, it's inside of the house due to being threatened by a Hurricane Dorian, and I don't think I'm going to be taking it back outside for a while. I think I'm going to leave it where it is inside the house until after all these storms have passed. Now, here's my little balcony that I built. I use just hot glue and some dowels to create the risers to keep the roof up. And again, just natural spaces in the tree trunk I darkened with paint to create openings that, you know, like the fairies could be coming out of the doors. You know, maybe they don't necessarily have a door, it's just an opening. So that's kind of how I decided, I guess, where to put what. And you can see I found some little creatures that I absolutely fell in love with, and they just like fit perfectly. All of my fairies and creatures that you see are either from the Dollar Tree, Michael's, Joann's, and maybe a Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure, but the majority of them are the Dollar Tree fairy garden items, such as the little critters and things like that. But some of the gnomes and other figurines did come from either Michael's or Joann's. And like the little tiny mushrooms, they come in a package in the miniature section of any of your craft store that you could find. The mosses also came from the Dollar Tree, except for the sheet moss that was left over from different projects, and I didn't have enough to cover the entire base, so that's why I'm using a combination of the moss to cover the whole bottom of the base of my treehouse. And pretty much it's just playing, you guys. I had so much fun doing this, and I'm gonna treasure this treehouse forever because it really is magical to me, and it does remind me of the faraway tree from the Enid Blyton stories, where there was all these creatures, gnomes and fairies and moonface, that all lived in the tree. And yeah, I'm a big kid, so I really had fun doing this. What else can I tell you about my treehouse? Oh, I did go ahead and make a little fountain out of rocks and hot glue. And as you'll see in the end when I show you the entire thing, it's just, again, a lot of playing, me deciding where I want to put what, and just moving my little figurines around. And there may be new tenants and people may move in and out, the fairies, you know, you never know, they have travels to do. So the residents may change now and then, but that's about it. So I just want to thank you guys for watching, liking, subscribing to my channel, and coming back. I do want to thank all of my new subscribers. I hope you like my DIYs and decors videos. I will be posting a new video, at least one every week, but more than that on a regular basis, I hope. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in another video soon. Enjoy the rest of my playing with my magical treehouse, and do leave me a comment. Let me know, have you ever read Enid Blyton and the Faraway Tree, or The Folk of the Faraway Tree? It's a very common, well, she's a very popular author for England and Australia and most of the Caribbean. We're very familiar with Enid Blyton. So if you've heard of her and read her books, please do leave me a comment and let me know what was your favorite series of her, and if you remember The Faraway Tree. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.